Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be working on a crochet dog or cat hoodie, and we're going to start that in just a moment. Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be working on a dog or cat hoodie, and it's to fit a 5-pound cat or dog or piglet or whatever pet you have that's about 5 pounds. So we're going to start by crossing our yarn. We are going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go into that second chain from the hook, and we're doing a single crochet. So to do a single crochet, you go in the chain, pull your yarn through, yarn over, go through the 2 loops. You're going to do this to the end of the row, which will give you 8 single crochets. Do that and meet me back. Okay, so I've done that. We've got our 8 single crochets. We're going to chain up 1, turn our work, and now we're working only in the back loop of this stitch. So we're working in the back loop and we're doing single crochets. We're going to repeat this row until we have a total, counting this one, of 40 rows. So just single crochets, back loop only, chain up 1 at the end, turn your work. Single crochets, you should always have 8 single crochets per row for a total of 40 rows. Do that and meet me back. Okay guys, so I did my 40 rows. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach these. So fold your work without twisting. We're going to go into that very first space here. So my working yarn's coming from here. We're going to here. We're going to take our contrasting color or our main color, whatever you want to call it, and I just hold it at the back and I pull it through, and we're going to chain up 2. Now I'm going to take that white and I'm going to give it a tug so it cinches up those stitches. Now I'm going to pick up 40 stitches. So we're now switching to half double crochet. So you go yarn over hook into, see how there was a hole there? Pull through, yarn over, go through all 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. Now in the next one, see here on the ridge, we're going into that space, pull through, yarn over through all 3 loops. Here, there's a bit of a hole right there. We're going to go in there, pull through, go yarn over, go through all 3 loops. I want you to do this all the way around until you have 40 stitches. Do not count that chain 2 as a stitch. So do that and meet me back. Okay, so we have done our 40 half double crochets. So now what we're going to do is we are going to start spiraling. So I want you to put yarn over it and do not go into that chain 2, but go into the very first stitch. And we're going to start spiraling. Now we're going to spiral for a total of 8 rounds. Now I want to show you how to count your rounds, okay? So my working yarn is here. On this side of the crochet hook, I have 1, 2 rounds. See, because there's 2 ridges. On this side of the crochet hook, I only have 1 round. I want you to repeat this in a spiral until you have a total of 8 rounds on each side of your crochet hook. Do that and meet me back. Okay, so I've got my 8 rounds. So like I said before, you go to where your working yarn is and you count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on this side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're at a good place. So what we're going to do now is we are going to slip stitch into that next stitch. And then we are going to chain up 2. We are going to pick up 20 half double crochets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now what we're going to do is work in rows. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway there, 11, 12, whoops, do you guys see that? Woo, trying to give a little piece of me with it. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now I'm gonna double check. I have been crocheting for a lot of years, but you know what? I still count my stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We are not counting that chain 2 as a stitch. We are going to chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work. Now you're working back and forth on these stitches for a total of 6 rows. So we've already done 1 row. We're going to keep going until we have a total of 6 rows. Do that and meet me back. Okay everyone, so now I have done my 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am going to take my scissors, cut my yarn, and very gently pull that tail through the loop. And the reason we do it gently is because we're going to go back and pick that out. Going back to the stitches we didn't work. See this stitch? It's got one little thing in here. We're going to start there. And we are going to attach our yarn. I just hold it at the back. See? And then I pull through, chain up 2. And again, we're going to pick up 20 half double crochets. Okay? 20 half double crochets along these stitches, and then I want you to meet me back. So I've done my 20 stitches. I'm going to chain up 2, turn my work, and now we're going to start decreasing. Now we're decreasing because this is the chest part of the sweater, and we don't want all that bulk between their little legs, right? So here's what we do. Yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the next stitch, pull through. You've got 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. Yarn over, I want you to go through all 5 loops. So that turned 2 stitches into 1. So this row is going to have a total of 18 stitches. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to decrease at each end of the row. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we're at 17. That means for our next stitch, we have to turn 2 stitches into 1. So yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into that next stitch, pull through, 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, yarn over, go through all 5 loops. We're going to chain up 2, turn our work, and we're right into another decrease. So I'm going to show you one more time. Yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the stitch, pull through, 5 loops, yarn over, go through all 5 loops. So I want you to repeat the decrease on each end until you're down to 10 stitches. Do that and meet me back. Got my decreases. I'm down to 10 stitches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach across to the back panel, and I am going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. Come on now. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch to connect these 2. I'm going to chain up 2, make my loop big. Now you remember where I told you not to pull tight? We're going to go back there. We're going to undo that. And using the yarn from the back panel, we're going to reach to the front panel and slip stitch into the chain 2. And just like that. Now we're going to pull our tail through our loop. This time we're going to pull tight, and then I just tuck that down the center so it's out of my way. Going back to my working yarn, I have the good side facing me, so I'm not working from the inside. We are going to have 30 half double crochets in this round, and we're going to do 3 rounds of 30 half double crochet, and we're going to join our rounds with slip stitches. Okay, so I'm going to do this round, and then I will meet you back, show you the slip stitch, and then you chain up 2 and you go to your next round for a total of 3 rounds. So if you're confident, you go ahead, skip ahead in the class. But if you're unsure what I mean by it, come back with me. Okay? And make sure you count your stitches. You want 30. And that chain 2 does not count as a stitch, because where you did your joins there, you have the potential to either lose a stitch or gain extra stitches. So make sure you count your stitches after this round. 30 stitches, and I double counted. So now you're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2, sorry. So into the top of the chain 2, do your slip stitch, chain up 2, and begin your round 2. Okay, so you want a total of 3 rounds. We've already done 1, we're starting the second. You want a total of 3 rounds, and then meet me back. Okay, so I've done my 3 rounds, and I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 2 for this final round. I'm gonna make my loop big, cut my yarn, and pull it through the loop. Now, if you are like fancy and have stitch markers, you're gonna need them. If not, and you're like me, I just keep my yarn ends, and I use them as stitch markers. So Okay, so we're gonna count out 5 stitches. So from where we finished off, we're gonna start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna put a piece of yarn there. Okay, and then we're gonna count 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's about centered, which it is. So from the 5, we are going to take our white yarn. Where we put our yarn to mark our stitch, we are going to work in the next stitch over. Using your contrasting yarn, you're going to, I hold it at the back, I pull my loop through, we're going to chain up 2. In the same stitch, we are going to do a half double crochet. We're going to do half double crochets around in all the stitches, and then we're going to meet back and I'm going to show you some decreases. Okay, so I ended up with my 30th stitch being where I put my stitch marker, which is what you're supposed to do. So we are not going to join. We are going to chain up 2, turn our work, and now we're going to do a decrease. So yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the next stitch, pull through, and then you're going through all 5 loops, just like we did before. And you're going to do one when you get to the other end. So this will end up having, this row will end up having 28 stitches. We are going to do this twice. So we're going to do 2 decreased rows. So after this, you're going to do another row. You'll be down to 26 stitches. And then I want you to work back and forth on those 26 stitches so that you have a total of 12 rows from the beginning of the color change. So this will count as row 1. This one will count as row 2, and I want a total of 12. So do that, meet me back. Okay, so I've done my 12 rows. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna leave quite a long tail because we're gonna use it for sewing. Okay, we're gonna put our tail through our loop, just like so. And then this is where we start sewing things up. So this is inside in. We're going to turn it inside out. So the first thing we're going to sew up is, whoops, that's this, is down at the bottom here. So first, I'm just going to take these 2, tie them together. Okay, so now, whichever is the longest end is the one I would use for sewing. So we're going to use this one for sewing because it's longer on my side. We are going to thread our needle. We're going to pinch these together and we're going to do what's called a whip stitch. So we just go in one side, out the other, and then we go back to the same side, out the other. And we're going to do this all the way down. So we're just one side to the other, one side to the other. Once I get down to this, we're going to just tie them together again. I am obsessed with making sure none of my things come apart because I sell a lot of my creations. So here we go. We'll go down to here and then we'll just tie these together. There we go. And then you never, ever, 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 never cut where you're not. So I'm just gonna go up here a little bit again. A few more stitches. Then I'll cut. You are also gonna hide all these threads, okay? But I'm gonna skip ahead to the one at the top. So this is for the hood. Again, you're gonna thread your needle, pinch those ends together. I always do a double stitch when it's at an opening like this, because that's where it's gonna have a lot of tugging. There we go. And then we're just gonna whip stitch all the way down. I'm not very picky about my whip stitches. Some people are like, take one from this side and one from that side, and they're quite picky about it. I've never had customers complain. I don't complain. I just close her up any which way it works out. So whip stitch all the way to the end, and then I'm going to show you a knot I use, and then we'll be on to making our tassel. So here we're at the end. I'm going to give it 2 stitches. Now I'm going to do a knot here, okay? So I have nothing to tie up against, so I'm going to use a loop. So I'd make my loop, and I go in my loop once, and I go in my loop twice, and then I pull that tight. Do not cut this because we are going to attach our tassel to it once we get to that point. So hide all your other threads, meet me back. So now that I've hidden all my ends, we're gonna turn the sweater back so that it's right side out. I am going to grab my tassel cardboard. Now you're probably saying to yourself, what is a tassel cardboard? And I will explain this. I do enough tassels that I finally just made myself, it's kind of beat up, but I just made myself a square, and this is what I use for tassels. So to make a tassel, this tassel, we put our thread on a cardboard. Now, I don't know exactly what this cardboard measures. I think it's probably about 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches, except that it's pretty tattered and torn, so it's probably not quite exactly that anymore. And then I'm using 2 colors, so I start to wrap them around. Now, I want 12 wraps. So this counts as 1, this counts as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Once we get to 12, we snip it at the bottom. We don't want that to unravel. Now we are going to take a length of white. We put it underneath the yarn, and this is what we're going to attach it to, whatever you're going to attach it to. And you do it up at the top. Sometimes I go around twice. Do it at the top. Double knot it. Okay, then we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to give that a cut. Holding this. Take that out of our way. So these are what we attach it with. So I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to take another piece of white. I'm going to lay the tassel on the white a little bit of the way down. And then I'm going to tie it again. So there you go. Now I'll probably go around twice. I tend to do that for a lot of things. And you're tying this tight. Okay. And then you're gonna snip those. And then you're gonna trim it up. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit. There we go. You're gonna mess with it until you get it just the way you like. There, that's better for me. So once your tassel's done, now you're gonna go to the hood of your hoodie. We are going to reach through right in the corner. Make sure it's nice and poked out. Okay, right in the corner. So you're gonna take one strand and using your crochet hook, you're gonna pull it through. Oops. Now mine are a little bit short, so pull one through and then I'm gonna tie it to the one that's already, that thread I said to leave there. And then turning back on the other side. See right there? We'll reach from here, pull it through. See it? Right. So that's the one we tied, and this one is the one we have not tied. Just tie a knot there. Oh. Again, double knot. And then if you want to do a couple extra knots. And then we take this whole mess. We leave it a little bit long. See how I'm leaving about 1/2 inch there? That's just because I'm paranoid things are going to come undone. And there you go, guys. We have our beautiful little dog or cat or piglet hoodie. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I'm also starting a new thing. I'm making journals. I design them and publish them on Amazon. I'll put some links for those in the description. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.